Titch.
Yeah. What's up, y'all?
Hey, y'all.
We're back. I'm Jared.
I am Josh.
I was just sitting here thinking that might be too shiny, so if it is, then we'll make it work. Whatever. What's going on? It's not much news fit to print this week, but I'm having fat tires, so that makes it worthwhile.
It's news, buddy. Seriously,
Yeah.
any excuse to crack open a beer and talk to the man. I'm down. I'm down.
And we, didn't. Well, to say we didn't ignore is it true? We just didn't. We knew what had happened. We do this on Sunday night, and last Sunday, I was like, that Sunday that everybody's been talking about this week, but it's too much of a downer, like to talk about everybody that died last Sunday.
God, yeah, man.
It was crazy. But what's up to Nikolai and Brickhouse Brown and Brian Lawler? So that's what's going down. It was one of those deals where it's like, what do you say? It just stinks.
Seriously,
And
man.
they say that stuff always happens in threes, but it literally happens not in the same day.
Yeah, seriously, man.
That was funky, but it just stinks. That stuff happens, but it's not so stinky that, because two of the guys had lived a good long time, and I think 70 doesn't sound as ancient as it used to to me anymore, but especially at my age. But with somebody like Brian, I think it's like 47 or 49, somewhere in that neighborhood. But that's, I'm closer to that than I am further away from it. So it's kind of like, whoa, that's funky.
That.
Yeah,
Man.
But what's up to them?
Yeah, I'm with you. I hate that stuff.
Yeah.
And, I think it's good to acknowledge it, though. So
Mm-hmm.
you did good to bring it up, man, and wish people well on their way, man. And
They're swirling in the heavens.
yeah, seriously.
Especially a dude like Nikolai, because he's one of those dudes that never got that chance to meet, but what kind of was around, like going to some of the WrestleMania stuff. And he's one of those guys that I feel bad because I thought, well, I'll get to him, and then now they're gone. So didn't work out. But I remember any event that I was at that he was there, just really getting that vibe, like, man, this is a cool dude. And so to never even have met somebody and you got that feeling from him, I think it's a pretty good sign that he did something right.
Yeah, Volkov was a dude that really struck me as one of those, a really good example of, just physique-wise. That's a strong cat. You can just look at that dude and tell he's like Colossus. He's literally like the real life Colossus. Because he was always a heel when I was a little kid, and then when they turned him babyface, I was really happy they turned him because part of me always wanted to, part of you wanted to pull for him anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a strange thing because he always had a real kindly face and big smile, and it was all good. And he's this monster, and it's like that guy could murder you. I just think and that happens a lot. I think people say Kane's like that. Some folks said that Vader was like that. It makes sense. It's like, but it's just cool. I like that dude, and I'm with you. I hate that he's gone, but I'm glad he was here.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man.
That's almost you don't want to hear stories about somebody having a real tough sickness at the end of their life.
Yeah.
It's lingering and lingering and lingering.
No kidding, man.
Better to is it better to burn out or fade away? It's the debate.
your thoughts?
Yeah.
Neil Young lyrics, thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes. But, man, my biggest thing I've been celebrating this week is the birthday of the Big Mac, and I just had no idea it was going to be the ordeal that it to say it was an ordeal. I thought it was a big deal. Nobody cared around me, but I was like, I gotta go get my coin. And
Yes.
So I make it out to my McDonald's in my hometown, and sure enough, I'm thinking, oh, they're gonna be gone by the time I get there. And sure, they had them left over, and I get my Big Mac, which I haven't had at McDonald's anything in a good while. So I don't know why I was freaking out about this the way I was, but I was. I had to have my coin, and it wasn't until it was in my hand that I realized what a ripoff it was. And not to call it a ripoff, just I'm thinking, okay, they're gonna print a version of it, and everybody gets the same one. Hell no. It's a set that you have to put together.
Of course it is.
And luckily, the one that I got was they hold them up to you and you got to pick out which one you want. I got the one that I would have picked out.
That's cool.
But there was, for every decade it's been around, which is 5 now, they did as like, 58 to 68, 68 to 78, 78 to 88. That's the one I got. And 88 to 98, 98 to 2008, 2008 to this year. I think I just did 70 years. But anyway,
It's all good,
like
man.
it. But of course, it's a set you got to put together. I'm not going and ordering 27 Big Macs
That's what I was going to say, man.
to get the 5 that I need.
Happy birthday to the Big Mac. How much do you love it? We'll find out. Good Lord, man. Collect all 5. Do it.
The Big Mac will go home. You won't.
You won't. For real, man. Come celebrate the Big Mac's birthday because you won't be around for its next one.
You're dead.
You're going to be dead. Collect all 5.
Participations vary from
Yeah, absolutely, man.
locations vary.
It's not guaranteed. We don't owe you anything. McDonald's LLC doesn't owe you crap.
So that's about the extent of my week. That's what I did, and got my stupid coin. And so now, and it started this conversation with me and some friends about how the Super Size Me movie and how unfair I thought it was to McDonald's back in the day. Not that I love, McDonald's and have to go there every night. I ate a lot of McDonald's during the Bill Elliott sponsorship years in our family.
Oh,
It was a dark time because of that. But
I used to get to drink Budweiser, and now I got to eat McDonald's.
Oh,
Not the same.
That's the type of love and respect that we have for Bill Elliott in our house. Just that anybody that supports him, we must support. And I was like, how much of this can we eat?
That's awesome.
And the Super Size Me movie was just one of those deals that came out where I remember people just going crazy for it, and I just was like, still when I would watch it, I was like, and I don't buy the statistic breakdown that old buddy gives when he sets up, and he sets up his rules. And Morgan Spurlock's who I'm talking about, by the way. I don't mean to call him old buddy. Morgan Spurlock,
Old buddy.
documentarian.
Morgan, old buddy Spurlock.
Good brother.
Good brother.
Morgan. Mickey D. I like that he sets up his rules. Like, I'm going to have it breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day for 30 days. And anytime they ask me to supersize, I have to. He gives the statistic breakdown, and I think he cheated, honest to God. Because when I think the final breakdown, when he's clicking through all this, I think he only supersized like 4 times in 30 days. This is at the height of them pushing the supersize. I mean, I don't buy that. I think that's a lie. I think they finally convinced him, like, you can't go with that rule. You have to cut that rule. Because it's less than 10, but like between 4 and 10 times is the only time he's supersized in 30 days. I just don't believe that. And at the same time, talking about that movie, they really kind of lead you on to believe that this is the only fast food restaurant that's doing this to these people. And it's like, everybody is doing this, and nobody with a brain has said, or if you believe in you don't have one, that nobody has said, this is a good idea to base your entire diet around.
Yeah, I'm with you on the mix specific part of the movie. First of all, did you really need a movie to tell you that eating McDonald's and nothing but for a month was going to be bad for you? Because I'm going to tell you something. If you get to the end of that movie and you're surprised, that's fascinating.
Yeah,
but
you're not smart.
But yeah, the whole that's McDonald's, dude. It's all of them. That's all of it, man. Just, if you want to make that movie, that's okay. But
yeah.
I don't know. I'm with you on the public service announcement element of it. Like, who in the hell didn't already know this?
Yeah.
I don't understand, man.
Why are we watching this train wreck?
Yeah, seriously.
And I think McDonald's is one of those companies that everybody kind of it's nice that the record's being set straight on some of the lawsuits that came about a bit then, because this argument was based on a lawsuit that these teenagers tried to prove that they were addicted to, and that's another story. But everybody laughed at the McDonald's burned me
Yeah,
lawsuit, and
that's a much better documentary.
I'm glad that documentary is setting that record straight of just how hot how hot that coffee was. It shouldn't be that hot. And because all anybody knows about it is the Seinfeld episode and just the jokes that were made about it. And is coffee supposed to be hot? No, it's not supposed to be literally that hot to burn 3 layers of your skin off, and in any part of your body.
Yeah, the big curveball in that story is that McDonald's didn't get hit for that lawsuit or for that. What's the word I'm looking for, man? But basically, that purse, the amount of money.
Uh-huh.
It had nothing to do with how hot that coffee was.
Mm-hmm.
It was literally just corporate cronyism. Because quite literally, all the lady asked was for them to pay her hospital bills. And they said no. And she found herself some terrier lawyer off the back of a MARTA bus somewhere. And he is like, you got it, sweet pea. And they literally just...
Jackie from Seinfeld.
Seriously, they were such jerks about it, about not even wanting to help her out at all, that got the right lawyer and they found the right judge. It's as simple as that. It's
I'm a Wendy's guy.
How hot does it have to be for you to get $7 million or whatever it was? It wasn't that at all. It's that they were such pricks about it. They wouldn't want to help that. It's just the little lady, man. All she wants you to do is pick up her hospital tab and you say no. So what can I tell you, man? Wrong lawyer, wrong judge, and that's what cost you there.
Yeah. And so, but all this McDonald's talk this week. You had the story. There's another story that I guess.
McRib is back?
Yeah, they're, it's kind of one of those stories that I want to believe that McDonald's wasn't culpable in this, but, this many years ago, it's hard to know what to believe. But the story about the dude that basically rigged the Monopoly game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's one of those deals where you're like, I cannot believe this. Because there was always that one piece that you couldn't get, and you find out why. And old buddy, it's like, and it just... And I had to say old buddy about him because I don't know his name. Who cares? But
not Morgan Spurlock.
Non-Morgan.
Not Morgan Spurlock.
It was the deal was old buddy, like living up in Pittsburgh or wherever they stick the hose for the enema, and he's essentially able to. I don't know. He had to know somebody on the inside that isn't coming clean or is dead or was murdered or something. And he has the ability to get all the instant win game pieces for these large sums of money. And after a while, when he's kind of realizing that they might be on to me doing it, he starts spreading them out to people. And, he gives one to Scottish Rite, and they are able to claim this cash prize for this money. It's, I guess, his way of trying to be like a, Robin Hood kind of deal. And they were still like, no, you still don't have the right to do that, and you still are going to be on the hook for this money. And turns out, after all that deception, and the FBI is basically letting McDonald's know that we're on to this, and want you to keep the game going. But at that point, how were they not? It's a fascinating story, and seek it out. It's not that hard to find. You can Google it, and it's really, really neat. Just like how that. I think there's already a movie in the works that Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are going to do about the guy that set up the Monopoly game. And it's like, at what point does McDonald's become kind of like in cahoots with this guy? They're like, what? And it puts them in another bad position. Thanks, Morgan.
See, here we go again.
Like, well, what do we do? Because we want to be on the up and up, but at what point are we culpable in helping this guy? And and after all this money he has to pay back, $50 a month is all you have to pay, and it's a fun story to go check out and read.
That's insane.
And so that's
I saw the
worth
headline.
checking out.
I saw the headline and I didn't pursue it beyond that. I just assumed he was a time traveler who was 3D printing pieces, and because why not?
Biff Tannen style.
He's exactly, man. That was one
Sports
of
Almanac.
the 1,000. Photoshop jobs of Brock Lesnar reading his little magazine backstage. Great Sports Almanac was my favorite. Somebody had put that one in there. But that's pretty great, man.
Checking out the box scores.
Yeah, man. You just to know is to care. What can I do? I got to educate myself here, man.
That was what consumed my week. Is I tapped out at 2 Big Macs after I went to the McDonald's on the other side of the town the next day, and they didn't have any. I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not putting this set together. I don't care enough.
Don't you want your coin? No,
Not
no,
enough.
I don't.
Not
I
enough.
don't. No.
And when you people that have put the set together, I don't believe that they did. I believe they stole these. I believe it's employees that stole them, and for what they're going for on famous internet auction websites, copyright. it's dumb to pay what people are paying for.
Well,
Y'all, this is still what the coin gives you is it's redeemable for a free Big Mac now that the promotion's over. But now it's like, why would you pay that now?
Because you need all 5 of your coins so that you can put your Infinity Gauntlet together and snap the Big Mac out of existence.
Yes. The McRib will never leave.
Permanent McRib. That's awesome.
Don't you want it?
Well, don't you?
I just, that
That
was.
they work at McDonald's. That'd be great, man. You want to supersize that? Well, do you? That'd be awesome, man. Mark's Spag gets splashed with the French fry grease. Hot in hell! That'd be awesome.
Dangerous.
Man, shoot, Paul Stanley, McDonald's manager, that's a show that needs to happen.
Oh man, if you're on YouTube, and if you're watching this, you are.
You are.
It's worth checking out the Cinemassacre review of Mac and Me.
Oh, awesome.
I did a deep dive on McDonald's. It's like, I'm not joking.
That's awesome.
I just did not remember the McDonald's tie-in as hard as it was in that movie, and it's blatant, and it's there, but I remember being like, this kind of like E.T., kind of not, kind of
Awful.
it's just all around bad movie of this alien coming down, and so yeah, but that was another part of the McDonald's deep dive. Is go check out their review of talking about Mac and Me, and just people with way too much time on their hands to go over that movie.
You've seen Mac and Me enough to be able to review it.
Yeah,
You've seen it too much.
so at this point, it's just sad.
If you do it, this is the thing. If you do, because that was kind of, I don't know, it's not mean, but I don't want to lay on top of Cinemassacre.
Yeah.
If you do it, it means I don't have to. So I appreciate you
yeah.
having done it, so I can watch the hilarious and wonderful review. So I hope that didn't sound like too much of a diss, because I do appreciate you.
It's a thank you, as opposed to like, why?
For real.
What'd you do?
At no point did Cinemassacre suggest I watch Mac and Me, so thank you for that. Man, I was thinking, my brother and I were discussing yesterday, truly awful movies. Mac and Me is one of them. And then it's
Top
like
of the list.
movies that are awful, and then movies that are awful that you love and you can't see often enough. No Holds
Yeah.
Barred, of course, being number one.
Oh, by all means.
Because No Holds Barred, don't do it. Don't do it. I love it, but come on, what am I doing over here?
I mean, they're, and I guess that's what they're getting at with their Mac and Me reviews. It's Mac and Me, Punisher Warzone, movies like that you can just turn on and just, you don't have to follow, you just talk over.
Yeah, man.
And just watch with friends and kind of just lay into nonstop is one. That's what that was good for.
That is an excellent idea for like a list of movies, is stuff that you just like to talk over.
Yeah.
That's really cool, man. Like,
Yeah.
and we were discussing that yesterday too, and now, by God, you and I will too, because I'm pretty sure that we agree on definitely 2 of these, probably all 3 of them. But I'm like that with the Star Wars prequels, man.
Yeah.
If you just get together to do like,
The point is to trash it.
Oh God, they are so much fun if you're watching them for that reason. Now the first one is hard to get through no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And it's strange because for the longest I said that was my favorite one of the prequels, just because I got good memories of going to the theater and watching. The movie itself sucked, but
Yeah.
all the hype and the toys and the books and all that stuff was a lot of fun, man.
The night I graduated high school, I saw that for the second time.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm talking about. That's awesome.
I remember that. But it's, and that might have been it for me. I might have just saw it the 2 times and was like, you know what, I've seen it.
I can dig it, man. It seems like I went through everybody I worked with and saw it at least once, and then it was the second one that I went out to the midnight showing the day it came out, and that was it. I saw it once, and it wasn't that I saw it once and then complained about it endlessly on the internet. Couldn't wait for the third one. I didn't see the third one until after the home video release, and I was given a copy of it for free by somebody that I worked with at the time because I was just out. It was like, nah, I'm done with this stuff.
Enough.
And I know we're all supposed to rally around the third one to about how great it is, but I disagree. I know you and I are on the same page. It's not good. There's nothing in that third. I don't care. Oh man, Mustafar's awesome. No, it's not. The Duel of the Fates is awesome, and that's a terrible movie. But everyone loves that fight scene at the end of the first one. But yeah, man, it's just. Anyhow, they are a lot of fun to get together and watch and just trip on.
Trash.
Oh God, especially my brother and I. Our narrative is constantly, and it pains me to say this because I love Kenobi, but they just make him such a bumbling loser. He is awful. He is god awful. And I'll give you the 2 examples that first come to mind. One of them is ridiculous, but then the other one I genuinely love. And I was watching it the other day, and it's the scene where Natalie Portman's asleep, and the Wrath of Khan scene where they cut the hole in the window and the little worm things are crawling all in and all that stuff. And Kenobi
brain
and
chigger worm.
Yeah, man. And Kenobi and Skywalker are out there whining about the Chancellor and our, whatever, Senator, whatever he was at the time. And Kenobi's trying to warn him in full-on Jesus regalia because that's when his hair was so pretty. And he's like, wow, you got to be careful of this guy, Anakin. He's, not no good for me. I think that he's a great man. And then he stops because, he gets force sensitive, and all of a sudden he realizes it. So he's heading for the bedroom door. And the second he goes, Kenobi's like, I sensed it too. And it's like, no, you didn't. And that's the whole point, is he's just following him around like, no, I felt it. I'm Force Jedi. It's like, if you watch it that way, it's great. And then the greatest example of all time is when you watch the prequels with that in mind, that Kenobi is just bumbling around and following Anakin and has no idea what's going on. And again, it pains me to say this because I'm a Kenobi guy, but they killed him in the first 3. It's why I think that prequel, I shouldn't say prequel, technically the gap bridger between the prequels and New Hope. I think it's why so many people want that so bad. Because we do love Kenobi, so we would like a little bit of redemption.
I gotta believe that's coming.
I think so too.
The Disney takeover.
I think so.
You know what? We're gonna fix some of this. We can't fix all of it, but we're gonna fix some of it.
I think so too, man.
Yeah.
So what you have is Kenobi following him around. I said too. I did. I noticed.
Look at me.
And then
I'm Jedi.
the next time, and I don't mean to ruin the original trilogy, and it's not ruining it. It makes it better in my opinion. When they sit down and watch the little video from Leia, what does she say? Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. I want you to watch him because he's sitting there doing this. And literally his next line is to look. You must learn the ways of the Force, Luke. It's like, man, if it's on me, we're all dead. So when you watch it with Kenobi trying to paw off responsibility to anyone other than himself, it's hilarious. It's like the very first thing. It's like, well, old dogs don't learn new tricks. You must learn the ways of the Force, Luke. Whew, that was close.
She wasn't looking at me.
For real,
She's talking to you.
If I'm her only hope, we better get her some more hope. He turns into Braun Strowman.
Oh God.
Oh man. What else is awesome to comment over? Twilight's pretty fun to comment over. The main thing with Twilight, though, is if you watch it on mute and just listen to music you like instead, man, where they shot that movie so pretty. You can get through that one. And that's the first one, because a lot of that series stuff, by the time you get done with it, I'm terrible.
I think I've seen like the first half of the first Twilight movie, and I was like out.
Oh, it's terrible.
I mean, just physically, I like fell asleep.
Yeah, man.
At somebody's place watching it, and it was from exhaustion from working and lack of interest in this terrible movie.
Well, that's part of it. The place they shoot it is up in Washington State, and it's all rainy and overcast. So yeah, it'll put you right to sleep, man. I'm a big rain sound person when I'm going to sleep. I love it. But oh man, I can't believe I can't think of more stuff that you talk over. But anyway, the prequels are underrated when you watch them that way.
It's specifically for that purpose.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you can. Oh, and you can get a lot of mileage out of Last Jedi that way too. And I love the Last Jedi, but boy, there's a lot of stuff in there that you can make fun of. So it's totally okay.
And I think Last Jedi had that. I was just riding high on seeing it, and like, well, I have to love it. But I mean, and I don't hate it as much as some people do. But I mean, it's just like all the other ones where, man, man, this is going to be fun to poke fun at when
Yeah, man.
when
It's
when the nerves are settled and everybody's not so. You can't say anything bad about my Star Wars movie. I love them.
Man, that one was the complete opposite. I've never met anybody that has anything nice to say about it at all, and if you defend it, you might as well change your last name to Trump. I mean, it is people lose their minds when you're like, "Yeah, I thought Last Jedi was okay." You're a fucking devil. It's like, dude, I was just okay with it, and I guess it's because I've heard plenty of breakdowns on both sides, positives, negatives. And it's all good as long as it's thought through. I have no problem with that. People that don't like, I don't know. I guess my thing with it was, I thought that for Pete's sake, they're just gone, man. All the Rey and Kylo stuff is fun. I'm enjoying not having any idea where that story is going. Looking forward to it. I'm hoping that they don't. I'm hoping that there's several ways you can go with that story, as long as they don't wind up as a couple, and as long as you don't shoehorn her in with the name Skywalker, I'm okay, because I love that idea of getting it away from the family. For the love of God, I don't need that stuff. Don't need no royal family in Star Wars. I'm okay with getting away from that.
Yeah.
But the huge downside I thought for it was Maz wasn't in it enough. Nah, that's just part of it. I think we've talked about it on here before. We can do it again, man. It's just that, I think that Poe's a really cool character, and that story is awful.
Yeah.
I think Princess Leia is a really cool story, but her and Poe's story is the same story, and it's awful. And it's the same thing with Finn and Rose. I like Finn, and I like Rose, but, man, that whole story is just awful.
Screeches to a halt.
It's awful, man. It's like, y'all just did not think this through at all. And I know there's certain things in that story that's supposed to be the ball in the air, and we're waiting for the juggler to come down in part 3. And I get that part. It's just that it seemed really, I don't know. I was hoping that, and I know you get in trouble when you talk about them doing things from the originals, but we discussed all of the New Hope flack that Force Awakens got, and I don't think it bothered either one of us. I didn't mind that at all, and I was really kind of wishing that they had worked in, instead of going all the way to the freaking casino planet. I get it, you gotta, save the kids, because the kids are going to be a huge deal in the third one, but you didn't save the kids. You didn't do anything to set them free. They're still slaves at the end. But I'm assuming that was the point, was to bring those characters in, and then I think that's where they're going with that. But I just thought it would have been a lot cooler to have, give Phasma some real badass time, and have Phasma basically track them leaving the ship, and then she jacks them up, and then you can wind up pretty much where you did at the end, maybe not quite so overdone. But anyway, it's silly, but it just seemed to me that you could have gotten a lot more out of that if you get Phasma more screen time, if instead of focusing on, it just felt the most prequel-y to me, where you've got to go to the casino because you've got to get your Donald Trump. Yes, it was Donald. Watch it again. Tell me I'm crazy, because every time I say, we do it Donald Trump, I'm like, it's the little red-haired thing that comes up and,
puts the coin in.
grabs BB-8 by his, coin slot or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's like, that's ridiculous. I'm like, man, we get it. You don't need Trump imagery. We get it. Yeah. He's a real thing, and he really exists. It's like, please stop. And I guess that's why I get so frustrated about it, because I like those characters, and boy, their story sucked. God, their story sucked. I really did think that Finn was going to die there at the end, though. So,
yeah.
I'm kind of, I don't know, it would have been okay, but we'll see what, maybe that's another one of the juggler's things, man, where we'll see what he's going to do in the third one. I don't need everybody dead.
Need to save the kids, the alien from Mac and me. Because one of the things that kind of irked me about not only the Mac and Me movie, but Masters of the Universe, is the two promises that never got paid off. The "we will be back" promise. Both of those movies that, I was ready for the sequel and never got. Maybe that's the kiss of death, is to do it at the end of your movie, is to do the whole, oh, by the way, kids, we're coming back. No, we're not.
Yeah, dude, seriously. You can do it now because, you get signed for.
It's built in.
Oh, yeah, you have to be, what's it called, detergent or whatever it was. Apparently you have to, and what was the other one? Mortal Instruments, I think, was the other one that just got point blank shelved. Shelved. I guess they finally woke up and realized you can't just make any old thing a series. But yeah, green lighting 4 and 5 and 6 movies at a time and it's messed up because with something I think the Divergent is that 3 books or 4? I don't know.
Okay, don't
However many books it was, add 1 to it because now they're all going to do the Harry Potter where you do a double at the end, which is just dumb.
Yeah.
By the way, while I'm on the subject of griping about stupid things, let me explain to you why I despise Harry Potter 7 Part 1 and Part 2 as much as I do.
What's that?
I love those books. Most people I know love those books. Most people I know that like those books. And here's the thing. I get it. It's the last one. You're maximizing your profits. I get it. Mm-hmm. But for the love of God, from a narrative standpoint, if you're going to make 2 of one of those, it's got to be Part 5. Part 5 is the one book that you should have done absolutely every word of. And it's not my favorite. 4 is my favorite. But 5 is the most important of the books, man. Mm-hmm. And it just stinks. There's like, I get it. It's a cash grab. But this way you can have your cash grab by doubling one of them up. And you can still do better. And I guess the problem with that is they would have done 5 and 6 and 7. 5 and 6 would have been okay. 7 is just, even when you read 7, it's like, this don't need to be there. This don't need to be there. This don't need to be there. But most of the stuff that doesn't need to be there in 7 is Harry and Hermione hanging out in the woods. And I guess if you get Emma Watson to come back, you're going to get every scene in that book, no matter how many times it's her and Harry hanging out in the tent just talking. No, by golly, we're getting all of it. Okay.
Say my words.
Yeah, for real. You will learn the words.
On the night. Man, that's just fun, to sit back and watch some of those reviews of movies that probably didn't deserve to be reviewed. You suck then, you suck now.
You suck then, you suck now.
It's all my McDonald's crap.
Hey, man. It's all good. I've actually been, wanting McDonald's for a while now, and it's like, no, don't go, don't do it. I'm resisting. But I didn't realize it was a McBirthday.
Yeah, man, it came, and if you hoping to go get your coin, they gone.
They gone.
They gone.
Real, the Infinity Gauntlet coins at McDonald's are no more.
It's just funny. I remember the big back from childhood, just being like this big undertaking. And you go get it now, it's just kind of there.
It's a crap ton of bread, man.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's still filling.
But boy, is it filling.
But to the point where, man, it's one of those burger ideas that you go and you get it, and I didn't have the fries. I broke Morgan's rule.
That's right.
But at the same time, just the burger alone and a drink, it's like, man, why did I do that?
God, what was I thinking?
Why did I do that?
What was I thinking? I wasn't. I was not thinking. And now I'm suffering.
What?
Oh, God. Nothing worse than this is when I'm in the John with this.
Strategy.
It's tragedy. Man, I need to watch that movie again. I haven't seen that in a long time, man.
That's a fun one to talk over.
Yeah,
man.
it is. That's
Ready to Rumble, man. That's just Hall of Fame.
That's just good drive. Flair's cut and dried promo is awesome. I love that. Excuse me. Good Lord, y'all. Sorry about that.
Rock and roll.
Sucking that beer down, man. Woo! That's it. We were discussing that earlier, man, that apparently Chris Jericho and his buddies have Paul Stanley stage banter code words, which I'm pretty sure that theirs was oh yeah. I'm pretty sure that was the one they went with. But the one that we've always gone with is a live one. Firehouse! Ooh! So that's great. I think it's awesome that people have their own Paul Stanley isms.
Transitional phrase.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Seriously, man.
It means 1,000 different things.
Oh yes, firehouse doesn't really mean anything, and also simultaneously everything.
Yes,
it is everything. Paul Stanley stage banter is everything.
For me,
man, I've been useless. I've got no good stories. I was telling Jared I watched the United game yesterday, which it's not really fair to say I watched it. What I did was put it on in the background and trot it around, and I shouldn't admit that because I'm a fan. But the fact of the matter is, if United is on FS1 or ESPN, if it's national, I don't really keep an eye on it because it's not that. Y'all know, if you've seen the show before, that I am absolutely convinced that all pro sports are scripted and rigged, and that's just how I feel. And it's not that part that bothers me. The part that bothers me is that it's the same script every week. Every time they're on ESPN, this is what always happens. Team that scores first, at the very least, is going to get pulled back and probably going to go down, and then we'll tie it up in stoppage time, which is exactly what happened yesterday. there's also got to be a use of VAR, and you've got to have some kerfuffle at the end that results. You got to have a sending off somewhere, usually at the end. And it's just, I'm tired of them ticking the same boxes every time. It's like whenever you see, Atlanta United versus Toronto, I'm like, well, we'll get a point, and that's exactly what happened. And I don't know, man. I really despise ESPN. If you've seen the show before, you probably figured that out. I just hate those guys. Anything that ESPN is just like any other news outlet, where you have the story and then you have your product, and selling your product is more important than the story. We discuss it all the time, man. Like Atlanta United with the stadium and just the city and how insane people have gotten for the game, particularly on the heels of the All-Star game, which another huge sellout and tons of people there, and it's all great. It was the people that came from other places. For a lot of folks, that's their first time in the stadium. So it's a huge story, and Atlanta United's success just financially as a sports team is the biggest story in the country, but nobody wants to talk about it because, oh shoot, I'm sorry, I'm knocking stuff over. There we go. Sorry about that, y'all. Oh, whoops, Daisy. But nah, man, it's a great story, but it's not a product. Because ESPN runs Major League Soccer, but there's two parts to that. They used to have it, they got rid of it. Fox got it back for a song. Now it's a big deal. ESPN's factored back in, but they paid way more than they wanted to and got a whole lot less than they wanted to. But at the same time, as you're negotiating going forward, you have to downplay it as much as you can, because you don't want to pump this thing that you might have to negotiate for full of steroids. It's the reason the SEC and the ACC anymore never ever get criticized, because they've got those contracts locked up for a long time. They're good. Now, if college football ever moves the needle, which I don't think it will, I don't think they've got anything to worry about, but if college football ever starts to move the needle nationally to the point that networks want to run it, then you'll start, well, Nick Saban might have some unsavory recruiting tactics, all that, because that's exactly what they did with the ACC the last time we had to negotiate with them. And it's like, this is just crap, because it's like, first of all, is it real news? And secondly, even if it is real, why are you bringing it up now? That's all, that's always been my thing with like Sandusky, with the Syracuse scandal, which, boy, that one went away real fast once that contract with the ACC got signed, didn't it? Yeah. That one just vanished, and I'm like, and that's what bothers me about it, is like, what are y'all not telling? I know that the news is not news. I know that you're not going to come out and say what's actually going on, but it's just so sneaky and dirty to basically, okay, well, what gets through the filter this time is how's it going to help us at the negotiating table? I hate that stuff. And I see it with ESPN because sports is what I watch. But the fact the whole world operates like that really is very frustrating, man. Yeah. I hate that stuff, man. And I've whined about it here. But, hey, we're up to 37 minutes now, so it's a show now. That's good.
It's official.
It's for real, man. Yeah, 35 minutes is like, once we hit 35, it's like, yeah, baby, we're pros.
That home stretch. Feature length.
Yeah, seriously, man. We're not in the short film category no more, baby.
Man, that's my jam. That's what's going on this week.
Me too, man. Not a bunch of stuff, but y'all nice to let me whine. Appreciate it.
Appreciate all the support. I finally, I all but reached out to Facebook people over the past couple months, and I don't think they realized that I was talking about this channel as being mine. It's like, oh, he just shared another stupid video. I was like, no, it's literally is me.
This is it. Subscribe. Which, by the way, the subscription of the Beast was fantastic. I don't know if it's.
I was surprised at that. I thought that was fun.
I don't know if it's 666 of y'all still. I don't know if it's gone up. I don't know if it's gone down.
But that was a time.
That is incredibly cool. So thank you guys if you're part of the illustrious, Coven of the Beast. That's awesome. That's just really, really cool, man. Thank you guys.
We'll see y'all. No Patreon here.